Welcome everybody to the Ericsson booth here at Mobile World Congress 2023. We are so delighted to be able to have the audience in the Middle East and Africa, especially for those who were not able to be with us today physically, but still we're going to give you the opportunity to have a custom-tailored review of all of the great demos and use cases that we have here. Today around the globe, there are 245 5G live networks already, 14 of them being in the Middle East and Africa. And this means that collectively and globally, there's a very good understanding on what type of services to offer in 5G and how to monetize 5G. And in fact, as you will see today, a third of our Ericsson booth is dedicated specifically on how to monetize 5G. So people typically, when they discuss this new technology, they talk about low latency and very high throughput. And for sure, those are characteristics of 5G. But in our view, 5G is much more powerful than that. It's actually the technology that's required to offer all of these immersive experiences of augmented reality, digital twin, and the metaverse in a very broad way to the population without any hindrance whenever they go. So, to give you a couple of examples, in the recent World Cup event that we had in the region, we actually utilized digital twin as well as AI algorithms to make a mapping of one of the football stadiums and to understand how the smartphones and the apps were used in order to give us recommendations on how to tweak the network for the next match. And this gave incredible improvements in terms of network performance, the amount of traffic being handled, and the amount of customers who could actually connect successfully to the network. Another example that we are big fans of is fixed wireless access, basically offering home broadband. And in the past, we only were depending on pure physical fiber installations. But with 5G, you definitely have an alternative to do so, an alternative that makes sense from a technical perspective, from a user experience perspective, and also from a business case for sure. So again, warm welcome to this upcoming 1 hour, and I leave you in the trusted hands of all of my colleagues to review all of the great use cases that we have to offer today. Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Fadi. That was really nice of you to give a message on that one. And thank you, and welcome everybody. Welcome from the floor of the Ericsson Hall here in MWC 23, Barcelona. This is bringing Barcelona to your doorsteps. I'm so excited and really a big pleasure for me to be co-moderating this session to us today with Bilal. Hi, Bilal. How are you?
Hi, Anne. I'm doing well. It's an amazing time to be here in Barcelona, MWC 2023. Out of 365 days in a year, those 7 days in Barcelona are the best to be here. And the hottest of conversations are taking place here in the Ericsson Hall 2 in MWC. Today we're going to bring to you the latest of what technology has to offer for consumer, enterprise, and for technical conversations. Of course, if you have to grab a coffee or do an email, this will be also viewable on demand after.
Yes, and by the way, we have prepared how many demos?
5 proof points.
5 proof points out of 75 and many more. Yeah. And what about the Q&A? How do they do the Q&A? If you have a question, please put on the chat and we will make sure that this question will be answered by our experts. Yes?
And to start from the future, we have behind us the Igloo, which we will first show as our first proof point. Of course, in the future, we won't be living in igloos, but we want to show you the power of technology. As Ericsson and visionary leaders in this industry, we want to strike a balance between innovation in future products and the innovation of the products as of today in the present for 5G and 4G. And with that, I'd like to invite you in for the future technology experience. Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to our future technology experience. This will take you through a journey in a world beyond 2030. So let's start off with a short video.
In a world where everything is connected, the digital and physical worlds will blur. Everything will be transformed to a digital equivalent so that the consequences of a change can be seen in a the virtual space before it's transferred to the physical world. This digitalized and programmable world will open the door to countless opportunities which will benefit industry and society. Limitless connectivity and applications such as connected microgrids and biodegradable zero-energy devices will help us take on our biggest common challenge, creating a sustainable world, dematerialize value chains, minimize footprints, and build circular economies. With digital inclusion, we create a more level playing field for everyone.
Excited? I certainly am. So let's now go and look how the future 6G network will enable that future. Come and see. So, welcome to our dome, and now lift our gaze towards the ceiling. We can see here examples of trustworthy networks will play a crucial role to enable secure and resilient connections among humans, enterprises, and mission-critical infrastructures. We can see how the network will extend to a global network compute fabric, where networking, compute, and data are intertwined, distributed, and made available to application developers through easily accessible APIs. With AI-based operation and optimization, the network will become fully cognitive, autonomous, and capable of zero-touch operation. And in the cyber-physical continuum, limitless connectivity will synchronize our physical reality with its digital representations. Networks will connect trillions of zero-energy sensors, and where needed, networks will provide extreme performance up to hundreds of gigabits per second. And all of this will be made possible through a wide range of technologies, spectrum, and infrastructure solutions. From radio stripes and radio dots in the dense areas, and all the way to satellites providing connectivity to the deepest forests and the widest seas. So, how far have we come then with concrete technology exploration in our research labs? Here we will show 4 concrete demos. The first one is about the 6G, a digital twin of a 6G network. So my colleague Nicholas here, he's walking around in this 3D model of Kista, Stockholm, so the Ericsson headquarters location. But this is, as you see, this is not only a visualization that you see. This is actually what we're running here is a real application through our 6G stack. So through the 6G baseband, and then we are using a digital twin of the radio and the propagation environment of Kista. And that is what you see on the screen. And as you see, when Nicholas is moving around there, the performance and the different the KPIs varies here, so bit rates and so on. So this is what you're showing here. So it's real data transmitted through the system, except through the radio and propagation models where we use digital twin technology. And this is very useful. We are doing this in our research on 6G, so we are using this as a tool to try out and test features and so on in the digital twin. And it can also be used in other purposes, for instance, to train AI models before implementing them or having them live in the system. Okay, so next demo. Here we show peak throughput of 6G. And this we are doing in the sub-terahertz band, so high up in spectrum. Here, what we have done here is that we are using the same baseband stack as we showed in the previous demo, but here we actually have a real radio. So here we have digital radio boards running here live, as you can see. And at this point, we have a throughput, as you can see here on the screen, of beyond 100 gigabits per second. And I can show you here also that we have implemented link adaptation and so on. So if we introduce noise, first of all, you will see that the throughput goes down a bit and the system adapts. So let's move on now to the next one. This one, the stunning 100 gigabits per second is fantastic, yes, of course, but we are running that in the sub-terahertz spectrum, as I said. And that has its limitations. You can get this fantastic peak throughput, but you have very limited coverage. So what is more relevant spectrum also for 6G is what we call the centimetric wave band. That's 7 to 15 gigahertz spectrum. And that comes with other challenges. Here we have implemented again, and it's running real here, a power amplifier. It's actually 2 power amplifiers here. Wideband power amplifiers. And they, as you can see here on the screen, each of them, here they transmit 2 carriers of 400 megahertz each. So with this wide bandwidth capability, we can flexibly place component carriers in this wide range of spectrum. So that is critical actually to get this implemented in this spectrum. Yeah. So let's move on to the last example that we show here. And this, I would say, if 100 gigabits per second is on one end of the scale, this is kind of the other end of the scale. Here we are working on a scenario where we have like trillions of sensors all around us. First part, use case part, we are working with researchers at MIT, and they have developed this. They have worked with this, with, you could say, sensor fibers that they have knitted together in this vest. So each crossing in such a garment like the vest or this sweater makes up a sensor, which means that in this one we have thousands of sensors. And with these sensors in this use case, this can be used, for instance, to detect human interactions with environment, so for health applications and so on, to detect posture and so on. So, but in this one, the first generation of this one, it's cabled, as you see, but we want to get rid of cabling and we don't want to have batteries. So here comes the other part of this one. So we, again, with MIT, we have developed this tiny chip that can actually, well, that you can see a close-up here on in the microphone, or sorry, in the microscope. So this chip is able to harvest energy from the radio signal. We have radio signals all around us. So this can harvest radio energy and actually bounce it back towards the base station with information. So this means that you don't need any batteries. And with this chips integrated with an antenna onto this garment, this is one use case, but you could think of thousands of use cases with sensors all around us. And we don't want to place batteries in them, we don't want to charge them, and we don't want to cable them. So this is another key promising capability of 6G to enable trillions of connected sensors and devices out there with no batteries. So that was a glimpse of what we are doing when it comes to 6G exploration at Ericsson. As you see, we are already now preparing for a future beyond 2030 in our exploration. But I have to say, this is exploration still. It's nothing near to a product, of course.
Great. That was so very exciting. Yes, I think you have something to tell us about what are the, can you say, the business potential of network slicing?
Did you know that it's about $200 billion industry by 2030? Even as much as 25 to 30% of the use cases are actually going to depend on network slicing in the future.
Wow. And actually, this is the fun part because we are entering now here in our hall. This is 6,000 6,000 square meter. And we are entering the monetized area, which we will have the first demo with Christian Janssen. And what we are going to talk about is how to monetize through dynamic network slicing. And that will be, Christian is over here. But guys, it's really good for you to feel that we have a lot of customers here in ours.
And did
in
you
our
know
area.
that this whole area is fragmented into 3 segments: accelerate networks, monetize 5G, and transforming enterprises. So we're only going to show you a small section of it today.
Yes.
But of course, there's a lot more, as you can see in this hall, in the
Yes.
Ericsson area.
So without further ado, Christian, can you tell us what we have here in your booth? Yeah?
Yes, so welcome. Yeah, here we talk about how to monetize 5G with SAN slicing. And we have our own 5G standalone network here, where we have deployed 4 performance levels. And right now we're running a Teams call from the laptop to the smartphone. And that kind of traffic, conversational video, is best done on the premium performance level. And that's what we see with these 2 lines here. These are the data down to the smartphone and the laptop on the premium level. We're also running YouTube, which we see here on the economy slice. And as you can see, the YouTube traffic has a very different behavior than the Teams traffic. Teams doesn't need to be so high in throughput, but it needs to be very continuous. Whereas YouTube tries to download as much data as possible in the beginning, and then it buffers. And that brings us to the first insight, where if you don't do traffic differentiation, you need to treat all data as if it's equally important, or equally urgent, I should say. But if you have traffic differentiation and you know which data, for example, YouTube, that can be sent a few moments later, a few seconds later, you can utilize the network capacity a lot better. Now let's go to how to monetize this. And we start with B2C. In this example with Mira, she is a gamer, so she can buy a gaming plan from the CSP, and then the CSP would deploy, for example, economy and latency slices to her device. So whenever a game needs better latency, it will use the latency slice. If she's more into entertainment, she can buy an entertainment plan for the CSP and then get economy and bandwidth. And if she's more into having the cheapest possible subscription, she could buy an economy plan and only get the economy. So this gives you an the CSP an opportunity to differentiate and tailor plans for different user segments, much better than possible today. If we go to enterprise, as an example here in my company, we do 243,000 Teams calls per day. So clearly video conferencing is a really, really important service right now. And the sales to B2B, to the enterprise, is a little bit different. Here the enterprise sourcing could buy all performance levels, and then the enterprise IT can themselves do the mapping because the devices are managed to put Outlook on one performance level, Teams on another. And the third way to sell these things is to expose APIs, where it relates also to communication platform as a service and Vonage from Ericsson. So to summarize, we are now in the first part of the third year of our industry that started with communication from one-to-one in the mobile voice era to mobile internet, which was more about consumption production, and now communication again, but not only between 2 and 2 or 1 and 1, but bigger groups and so on. And the 2 benefits of slicing, more revenues and better utilization. So with that, back to Anne.
Thank you very much, Christians. And guys, if you have questions, please put in the chat so that Sean can bounce it to us here, right? Do you have any questions for Christian? Please write in the chat. But thank you, Christian, and we'll get back to you if there's some questions.
Yep,
yeah?
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. That was exciting. And actually coming from here, Or is there something that you want to give some facts?
No, I think for the network slicing, the most important relevant fact for us here is that 25 to 30% of the 5G use cases will depend on network slicing.
Yes.
Fragmenting the 5G spectrum into small categories that CSPs can monetize on. So it's a great opportunity to go beyond speed tiering and data tiering and rather go down to the level of details where, for example, gaming, latency, or bandwidth are a criteria to enable a successful monetization journey.
I'm so, I'm really happy with that information. And because of within the proof points here on the floor, a lot of proof points are really dependent on that, or is the prerequisite. But moving now, I think everybody is excited for us to hear what is the use case that is really, popular or in Middle East and Africa.
Actually, within 3 years
monetize,
of a launch of 5G, 90% of the subscribers actually were on 5G. Fixed wireless access has been the #1 introductory use case for 5G introduction into the markets. So across Africa, in markets where 5G is being considered as the new technology for consumer offerings, fixed wireless access has proven to be one of the most successful use cases in monetization of the network.
And that's actually where we are going now. But as you can see, we are having a lot of customers, friends, partners, but we are just going to this side. Oh, hi there. Sorry.
We're back here.
But we are going now to Jonas to talk about the fixed wireless. Hi, Jonas. We can see that there's a lot of a lot are so interested for to listen to you right now. Yeah.
So it's really crowded here in the booth. We have 3 people presenting fixed wireless access, extremely popular. Fixed wireless access, it's one of the most successful use case for 5G beyond mobile broadband. 50% of all of Ericsson's 5G network is also used to provide fixed wireless access. So that's a fantastic number. And we expect towards 2028, 300 million subscriptions globally. And that corresponds to $69 billion in total operator revenues. Good examples. Now I'm not going to show any screens. I'm only going to talk here. So some of the really good examples are in the United States of America. We have the mobile operators T-Mobile and Verizon. T-Mobile have 2.6 gigahertz mid-band TDD spectrum and Verizon 3.8 gigahertz TDD spectrum. When they deployed the mobile broadband with the massive MIMO antennas and cover more or less the whole country, they also use that to sell fixed wireless access services. And they are up already, a fantastic uptake of fixed wireless access. And they are up in total of 4 million subscriptions in 1.5 years. They both connect the unconnected or unserved, but they also challenge the incumbent cable companies. Other examples are operators in other regions that are both mobile broadband and fixed broadband providers, and they use 5G then as a complement to fiber. And we can see that in many countries. We also here discuss different types of devices and what is happening on that front. So I don't know if you should stop there.
Maybe I have a question for you.
Yes, exactly.
What is the most successful tactic that operators take when they're introducing fixed wireless access into a market?
Yes, I think one is, of course, this: you have to set the strategy, how you want to deploy it. You have to select the right type of device. Is it urban areas you're targeting mainly, where it's close to the base station? Then you use a Wi-Fi router with a 5G modem. Is it very remote areas? Then you use a larger device with a large antenna that are mounted more on rooftops and so on. In addition, of course, if you share, there is an opportunity to share the same spectrum for mobile broadband and fixed wireless access. then you have to make sure that you don't oversell fixed wireless access. And we also recommend using slicing then to
Again, slicing.
and you also have the opportunity then to in certain areas, maybe add radio capabilities in that area just for fixed wireless access. So there are a lot of
It's
opportunities.
a surgical approach
Yes,
because between
exactly.
the busy city and the suburbs,
Yes.
there's always going to be that
Yes.
difference of customer needs, and fixed wireless access definitely provides the capacity
Exactly.
to serve those customers in the
Exactly.
suburbs.
And also think about having different price segments. Just as for fixed broadband, you can buy 100 and 200 megabit and so on. So there's a possibility to monetize even further with differentiated offerings.
Good.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Jonas.
Do we have?
Appreciate the
Yeah.
time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And John, do we have some questions online that bounce it to us, and then maybe you can also read it. Yeah.
So maybe.
Good. Thank you.
Yes.
Actually, now you can see that
Yes.
our this is the session area, but now our customers have visitors have left. But that's great. So we are going to our next demo, and Yes.
So-
Oh, there's a question. That's really
yeah.
good. We like that. We like that. Yes. Jean?
Any FWA devices, routers that come with a backup power or battery?
And today they are AC powered and power over Ethernet. So we don't really see that for homes and households, but it possibly more like a cradle point solutions for enterprises and so on. And they do both. They can have multiple SIM cards. They can have redundancy between 5G and fiber and so on. So that's much more advanced. This is mainly then internet for residential and internet to small home households. I hope that answered your questions.
Exciting.
Yes.
I think for the next proof point,
Yes.
we're going to go a bit into a journey, a bit further into the network with customers that have deployed 5G and they're looking to monetize a bit more than the layer of the consumer, the enterprise, rather expanding into how APIs can integrate into
Yes.
the network.
Excited on that one. Thank you very much,
Thank
Jonas,
you.
and see you later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye.
So, bye. So at this time, we are still in the monetized area, and I can see that Michael is smiling and waiting for us. Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm fine,
Hello, hi,
thank
Michael.
you. How are you?
Good, good, and excited.
Yes.
Shall we start? What do
Yes.
you have here in
What I
store
have
for us?
here.
Yeah.
You know, you have such a great assets in your networks, in the 4G and 5G networks, right? Someone wants to buy it from you, and that's the developers. This is what we show here, how you can monetize on your 5G, but also your 4G network APIs,
Yes.
and making them easily available to developer community all over the world.
Super.
Yeah. So what we have done here, it's that we are teaming up with the Spanish market operator Orange, Telefonica, and Vodafone, and in this case also a gaming company called Blacknut, to make it easy for them to get a better user experience. If you look at this place here, you know, sometimes there's a lot of traffic in the network, and here Blacknut want to deliver a great user experience to mobile players, right? But unfortunately there's traffic load, there's congestion in the network, and by including the quality on demand API, that functionality that you have in the network to the Blacknut, they have been able to deliver this really great user experience to the mobile gamers. So this is what we're showing here. This is live in these operators' networks here. And to put into context, maybe you know and noticed yesterday that GSMA, they announced this Open Gateway API initiative with more than 20 operators, where they say that we have an intention now to open up our networks to make it more available to developers, to drive more applications into the network, but also generate new monetary streams from the developers that are willing to pay for this. Another great example, if we move over here, here we are working together with an application partner, Zoom. I think you're all familiar with Zoom. Where we are showing here in live again the network. In this case here, this is an ordinary stream where they don't have this quality of service API included in here. And you can see it's fairly good, but it's a bit high traffic. The clarity in the picture is not as good.
if you compare to this one here, where they have actually implemented the quality of service on demand here. So there are a few use cases that we have here already. There are many more. You can think about things like real estate that want to show really high class apartments in a nice way using virtual reality. You can think about never miss a moment in your stadium. That's also another way where you can use these things. And is this something new? No, it's not. It's an existing market already today. Typically now, think about, you get this push notice from you into your phone from Emirates saying, hey, it's time to check in now, or unfortunately the flight is delayed, or you're upgraded. You get that SMS. Or from DHL, your courier service, when you order the package. So this is an existing market, it's an SMS, voice, and so on. It's already so. And that's something it's worth right now. I think industry analysts saying $8 billion US. It's expected to grow to 22 billion in 2025. It's a CAGR of 28%. So I'm not just standing here and talking about things that is not happening. It's already happening today. And the great thing is here, we have teamed up, as you know, with Vonage. Vonage, they have millions of developers on their platforms. And they know how to do this, expose those great functionalities to all these developers, because honestly, they don't know anything about 4G and 5G and so on. They are looking for things that can, or functionality that can improve their applications and deliver better user experience, right? And this is the great thing. They have that connection. So teaming up with Vonage will help you to expose all these great functionalities in an easy way, and you can monetize on it.
Yes.
I can ask you for a final reflection.
Yes, you can.
We talk a lot about high-performing networks.
Yes.
And of course, our customers will always going to wonder, how am I going to be able to realize the monetization of APIs? What do I need to do in my network to actually? What's the prerequisites or the criteria?
Necessary things?
Great question. I actually hope you're going to ask me that question. The thing is, it's not that big investment actually. What you need is the exposure functions. That is what you need to have in place in the network. And we have a demo over here as well that we were showing these things. So that's not complicated to do, right? Once you've done that, you need to team up with someone that's exposing this one. That's what I talked about, the developer platform like Vonage here, to reach out to developers. Of course, I mean, something I think, why do I need that? Can't I do it myself? Yes, you can do it yourself, but just imagine now, do you really want to have relationships and negotiations with millions of developers out there? Is that what you want to focus on? I guess not, right? They know this, they know how to package it, they know how to make it a market. So I think a partner like Vonage is the best way to do it, to reach out faster to the market.
And I think also opening up the innovation to more than just the ecosystem that we're working with. You got a lot of creators, a lot of startups that have ideas that could potentially play a pivotal role in the CSP's business.
Exactly.
So I think it's a great opportunity, and I look forward to the future with APIs.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you. Is there any questions from our audience?
Yeah.
You know the drill. There is. There is one.
I think you
cannot go yet.
It, but it's a bit related to the previous answers. Why API exposure is key, the CS revenue streams and more smarter businesses.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have talked about this for a long time, you know, the great thing about 5G, and if you look at the consumer lab studies that we are doing, and I suppose you also do, you've seen that they are they're happy about what they get, but they are looking for the killer applications, right? And by doing this and exposing these things, you can also see that there will be probably much more applications out there driving traffic, driving the customer satisfaction about this. That is why it makes sense to offer this to the developers. So that's one thing. The other part is, as I said before, is the monetization, where you get paid for it from that point. I mean, I think we have I don't know how much time we have, but I have a great use case that I can show you too, if we can move around here.
Yes.
That's actually, because you know what, this is one of the most requested demos and proof points, both online.
You know, we are here in Barcelona. Now imagine here,
yes,
and I want you guys to participate in this.
Yes.
Imagine now here, you are traveling into Barcelona, you're thinking, yeah, of course, when I'm here, I want to see Barcelona playing, right? You're going in online and you're thinking, oh, here it's €100 for a ticket I paid. But now they can upgrade you and saying, the event organizer is saying, hey, you want to have this never miss a moment experience where you can see the goals coming from different, you can customize the experience and so on. Great, we have created this app to deliver that to you. That's another 50 euro, right? You're willing to pay.
It's an upsell.
Yeah, it's an upsell. They're willing to pay for it to you who are the event organizer here, right? Good. Then what's happened is, you're flying in here. We want to check the status to see that you are roaming and you not only can do it in your country. So that's the first one here. That's the first API. Second thing in, now you're coming into the arena. And here we have some challenges because the TV rights and so on, they are very picky. They don't want you to use outside, but actually you're here.
Yes.
That's when we're using the location verification API. Then we have 80,000 people shouting but you have paid for that experience. So this is where we have the quality of service on demand API here that is delivering this great experience to you, right? So 3 things here that the web developer is willing to pay for and buying, and they go into the Vonage platform here to buy that. They're paying for that, and then Vonage is buying that functionality from your network. So you can see the revenue streams and how people are actually wanting to pay for these things. This is a great, I think, use case.
Another
really
how to
demonstrating
monetize,
this.
yeah.
To monetize.
But this is, for me, I really enjoy, and thank you for really
you.
adding this.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
But, yes, thank you
you guys,
again.
and then once again, have a great day.
Yes, and if you still have some questions, put in the chat, okay? Yes, if you still have some questions, put in the chat, and we will make sure that the experts will be answering. So, Bilal, I have a question actually. Now we are entering in the enterprise, right? And I'm excited. Is there like an existing use case in the market area that
Definitely. I think the beautiful part about transforming enterprises is that we get down to the level of detail of understanding each vertical and trying to assess where can we actually make impact. And upon finding out where we could make that impact, we could start to realize how technology could play an instrumental role in these verticals. And even to add a bit more on top of it, the beauty as well is that we learn as we go. Because we engage in these verticals, we start to understand what hurts, what's their pain points, how can we solve those pain points. And to me, that's the really beautiful part about transforming enterprising and being part of the digital transformation journey that these countries take.
Thank you, and that's a very good thing for us to listen to Stefan. He will be talking about the connected enterprise solution. But I don't want to take your time, Stefan. I'm handing over to you to give us what we have here. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, hey guys, welcome to Connected Enterprise Solutions. This is the proof point where we show you what you can do with Ericsson's partner ecosystem when you actually get the different pieces, the building blocks together and build real solutions. So whether that's for a private network, whether it's with wireless WAN or utilizing something from Vonage, here we're showing you how the ecosystem comes together. So I'd like to start with something that I think you've all heard a lot about for manufacturing. Automatic guided vehicles, or AGVs. Here we have our partner Kolmogen. They have one of the world's largest AGV platforms. More than 40,000 AGVs deployed, and we utilize these partners to actually get reach. So when we get this one partner, we're actually accessing 80 different AGV manufacturing partners across the globe, including 6 out of the global top 10. What do they do for the enterprise? Moving things around is a difficult thing, a challenge for Wi-Fi to solve. When they go on cellular, we can actually sometimes, with this single use case, provide significant ROI for, as an example, a factory. But it's not only about the robots, it's about us humans as well. And I think something that's human-centric is the connected worker. What does it mean to be a connected worker? Let me give you one example. I actually used to be a technician a few years ago. I would go out into a factory. I would have some instructions with me, some tools, but I didn't have any connectivity supporting me because this was quite some years ago. When I got those instructions wrong, if I didn't have the right tools, I would have to say, sorry boss, I have to go back home. The equipment would have downtime, everyone would be angry, we would have loss of money for the customer. Today, we can showcase with augmented reality how every worker can become the expert. I'm now today not bringing any instructions. I don't have any tools with me, but this can tell me what tools I need and what instructions I need. So here, they are coming into the factory, they're telling me, fix this problem that we have here. So it's some kind of equipment. I need to understand how to connect this. And what do? I bring up the tablet here with an overlay. And this overlay provides in augmented reality where the red connector should go. So I will remove it again to see. It goes up here. And so I can now connect it up in this way. I can verify my work. It's correct. And now, simply and easily, I have resolved the issue. I had all the instructions here on the tablet the whole time, what tools to use, and let's say what torque to connect it with. Another use case might be in a warehouse. So when you're in the warehouse, let's say that you have some kind of packaging solution. Now, here is where we can very, very simply, with one of our industry partners, show what does it mean to verify your work with autonomy. The IFM 3D camera detects the missing radio dots. If I put them back, it will now tell me everything is in place. And what happens here? Well, IFM has the industry customers. The industry customers are requesting wireless sensors. They don't know anything about that, but they're partners of us. They come, Ericsson, how can we solve this? So what happens is we can actually connect these over 5G wirelessly. Only the first few meters of cable will be going to a central point, but everything outside of this point would be backhauled over 5G. And now suddenly we have a flexible factory floor. We don't have cables going everywhere, and if we want to shift something around, we can do it quickly and easily. Do we have any questions so far?
I can definitely ask a question.
Yeah,
I don't have any questions from the audience.
While everybody is trying to brainstorm, let's have Bilal some questions.
We worked together on a couple of projects before, Stefan. And
Yes.
I mean, the most important question that we always had a conversation on is what identifies a use case in an enterprise? Sometimes the enterprise is thinking, okay, where is the efficiency that I'm going to get? How do I start my digital transformation journey? Because it is a due diligence that needs to go in to make sure that we're actually selecting the right use case for the right solution. So what is your take on how to start thinking about this digital transformation, how to embed connectivity in your thinking from the get-go, whether it's ports, whether it's mining?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a great question. It's something that I think every customer of Ericsson has been faced with. So how do I go into the conversation with my enterprise partner when we're trying to become their digitalization partner, to take them on the digitalization journey, right? And I would say that we as Ericsson, we can always be your guide in terms of the use cases you should be looking for. And that's why we're addressing a few of them here. 3 years ago, I would have actually told you, you need to go in and address maybe 1, 2, or 3 fairly complex problems to bring a great ROI for the customer. But now that we have actual industry references that we can look to for and just show what's actually been done, we're seeing that for some customers, when we go in and we talk about where you have connectivity issues, they might say, we don't have connectivity issues, but then we can ask them further. But your AGVs, what's the actual uptime for your automated guided vehicles? Are they up 100% of the time? No, they will say that they're up. I maybe have a 90% uptime, maybe 85, but that's the way it's always is. It can't be better. That's where we can go in and offer 5G, and we can tell them, well, you should actually be looking at closer to 100% uptime on your AGVs. And what we've seen with automotive customers is that when we go in and solve that very one problem, when they're struggling, we have sometimes as much as doubled the throughput in terms of, let's say if it's automotive, in car production, they have actually doubled the amount of cars that they can get out of that single factory when we resolve that kind of issue. And suddenly, it's not about the cost of the system, it's about the value that we bring, and we can go into value selling. And if it's an automotive customer, they're going to have more than one factory. And I'll tell you they'll be back for more when you solve a problem like that.
Connect first.
Thanks,
Connect.
Stefan. Yes,
Thanks so much.
connect.
Yes, thank you very much. Do we have question from the line?
Yes, we have
John,
one.
do you? Yeah, we have question.
To the response here. How important of a factor is network performance in 5G enterprise monetization?
Oh, that's a really good question. So, how important is 5G performance? I might think that this is also a question coming from, what if I'm only seeing 4G use cases? I'm maybe not seeing only 5G use cases. So in the case of private networks, was this a private networks question? I just want to clarify that first. Was it around 5G in general, or was it a private networks question?
It's more like for private networks.
Great. Then I can answer that fairly simply. So for private networks,
Yes.
Ericsson private networks, with Ericsson Private 5G, we can actually solve both 4G and 5G. The product supports
Yes.
both. So if you are going into an enterprise and they are only seeing 4G problems, that's still a win for you. That's new business. And even if this factory is not in, let's say, your traditional territory, well, this is a private network. You can go anywhere you want, right? That private network, even if it's only a 4G use case you're solving, well, that's value for the customer, and it's still a win for you. So 4G or 5G, that's a win when it comes to private networks.
Good. We really appreciate the questions that we have from our audience, and keep it coming. We are going to have
One more.
One more. That's what I'm about to say.
I wish we had a lot more, but
Thank you very much, Staffan. And
you so
if
much.
you have some more questions, please, we will make sure that questions will be answered later. Yeah.
now we're going to move into the
Oh, this
real-life
is-
digital twin.
Yes, this
Maybe
is
just to give a quick example
Yes,
here.
sure.
If we are to convert this from a physical world to a
Yes.
digital world and connect them together, that is what a real-life digital twin is. It's a connection between a virtual and a physical environment that allows us to test and simulate before implementing changes on the network in real time. And with that, I'd like to move into the real-life digital twin proof point.
Yes.
Pedro.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Can you please tell us what we have here?
Absolutely. So what we do here is what we call real-life digital twin. Okay, so the ambition is to capture the entire reality and bring this information at the edge. Now, when we have this information at the edge, we can do all the amazing stuff that you can do with digital signals, with digital prediction, AI, and so forth. Now, in our model of the world, there are two types of objects, let's say like this. There are connected devices, like for example, you see this iPad. This iPad is an IoT streamer, so it moves information about its position and accelerometer at the edge, and this is represented in real time in correct position in our model of the world. Also, we have a robot down there that is moving. It's an AGV from Cole Morgan, one of our partners, that is sharing this information live, which is also represented in this digital twin. This is great, but the most important and the most problematic part are the non-connected objects. Think about the workers in a factory. So in this case, to showcase the power of our network, we selected the cheapest possible webcams. And so you see there is a webcam on the pole up there, and there is another one on a pole back behind us. Now, this information from the webcam, this video, is fed at the edge. Now, at the edge, we can apply different AI models, and then you see here, for example, we have this blue model, which is much more simpler from a computational point of view, and this correctly identifies the position and the rotation of people. But then we have also our own proprietary solution, which is this full 3D body pose model, which is one of our innovations. And you see here how this is in real time capable of capturing whatever happens in reality.
Can you see me?
Yes,
Right there.
if you come close to the screen, unfortunately this works only close to the screen.
Yes.
If you come there, exactly, we see you in real time and also
Yeah.
both of you, yes, exactly.
So that's
And-
me, yeah?
Exactly. So the question is now, why are we doing this? Okay, so it looks amazing, but why? What is the
Why?
purpose? Exactly. Now, the purpose is to make this robot much smarter. Now, if you think about the information that we see visualized here about all the people that are around us is also available at the robots. So this means that the robot now can see, thanks to this technology, through the walls, through the obstacles. Basically, we can modulate the speed of the AGV from the edge, basically maximizing productivity without compromising on worker safety because we know where the workers are. Ultimately, the objective would be to get rid of expensive sensors on board of the robot, like LiDAR, which can cost up to $10,000, and replace this information with what we call network awareness, network perception. So the information from the different cameras, the different sensor, goes at the edge, where it is distilled and served to the AGVs, which now become super smart. So what we did, we are building now a real platform which can take different type of data sources together and use it in real time. So I don't know if you want to see a use case where we interact with the robot.
Yes.
We can do here. So if I can move there, let me just show you what we do.
Thank you.
So here we have our robot from Kolmorgen that is basically moving in this area. Now, and this is an area where there is only authorized people can enter, okay? In this case, I'm not authorized, so whenever I step in, you will see three things. There will be a geofence alert, there will be a signal to stop from the robot that is triggered from the edge, and also we will trigger some alarm tags, which are Bluetooth low power from Coupa. Further, there will be also a message sent using Vonage API on our coworker phone, so all together. So when I step now here, you will see that this is a red alert that is triggered. So now the robot is stopped, and you see also this alarm that has been triggered. But now, since we can mix together things and subsystems that were not supposed to work together, we can also create new programmable intelligent solutions. So for example, a human plus an iPad could be considered in our system as an authorized person. So when the robot moves, if I step in, what you see is that there is a green geofence in this case, and the robot will not stop. Because the robot now, I'm authorized person, and the robot will be able to continue working without stopping.
Is it okay if we can show the green?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Can you show the screen?
You see,
Here,
you see
that's
me,
the green.
you see my iPad while I'm standing here.
Yeah.
You see the iPad and myself, and the robot moving. And now I'm coming out. Because you can see the iPad moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is essentially what we've been working for a little bit. And now the next step is actually our ambition is to test this with our internal customer, which is the Louisville factory. So we are already discussing about deploying this solution there to interact with the RGV. So the idea there will be to refine the use cases and explore also scalability aspect, but also some business models. Because actually now we are also part of Ericsson One incubation. And there the idea would be, so from a commercial point of view, would be to have this platform preloaded into the EP5G. So once you buy the EP5G, you will have this platform available, and you can plug in your own robot and sensor, and voila, you have your own digital twin for your premises.
Can we get a quick word on the difference between simulation and digital twin? Because sometimes people confuse what a simulation is and what a digital twin is. This is not a simulation.
No.
So
No,
we'd
exactly.
love to get a few words
So,
on that.
very, very important question. So I would say that in general, so in our system, you can also do simulation, okay? But the key characteristics, that's why we're also focusing a lot on real time, is because we want to show the power of 5G and especially low latency to really create a perfect match between the reality and the
That's why it's
digital
digital
component.
twin.
Exactly. So yeah,
just a simulation.
exactly. So that's really the important component here. Of course, we can record data and project and look in the future as well.
But
Any
real time,
questions?
yeah. Do we have questions, Sean, from our audience?
Questions.
Yes, there's a question.
One is digital twin solutions right now commercial and available?
Great question. At the moment, I would say no. But as I mentioned, so we will have an initial after Mobile World Congress. We are actually testing this with our internal customer, really in order to be able to design the solution itself based on really real life requirements from a factory. So hopefully within the summer or after, we might be able to somehow have an initial offering. So,
But we have something in studio as well that was really, but
Exactly.
it was on a research.
Exactly.
And then we implement outside.
Exactly.
But you will see more of that in the coming days. And then whatever you have questions related to this, please bounce to your MA, to your CU, and then we will be able to help you from the HQ.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pedro.
No questions anymore? Before we
Another question-
proceed
another
to our
question.
close. Yeah, another question. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more on the Middle East. So what are the benefits of digital twins for the Middle East industrial sector?
I mean, I would say so, like Middle East, but I would say industrial sector in general. We are talking about cost reduction, safety improvement, and basically digitalization as well. So significant benefit from all, from the human quality of life to significant economic benefit. in both. This solution could be industrial setting, but also it could be for smart cities and beyond. So there is a lot of potential cascade of benefit to the whole society, society as a whole.
I think the most important, starting point for all of this is to identify where a digital twin is applicable and why is it applicable. Otherwise, the implementation of digital twin could be repetitive to something that could be more low cost. So of course, identifying why it's important and how it's actually yielding operational efficiency, productivity, or increasing the top line. Those would be some of the criteria that you would take into consideration.
Exactly, that's to have a purpose.
Yes.
Very good, yes.
Cool. Do we have more questions before we move to the place where we will be closing this session?
No, that's all the questions
So-
that we have. Thank you.
Great.
Pleasure.
Thank you very
Enjoy
much.
the rest.
Pedro,
Enjoy the rest
and
of
I
our
really
Congress.
enjoy this one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So at this time, I think it's sad to say that we have
of
finished
time.
all our demos, but we have 5 demo proof points out of 75, right? And we have 160 experts, and I think they were able to meet, can we say, 6, 7, and we have actually discussed a lot of people, but we customized this, particularly for MMEA.
Or
account.
market
Yeah.
area, Middle East and Africa.
Exactly.
definitely.
So,
Last
Tell me-
words.
yeah, exactly.
It's sad to say goodbye. I would have loved to show all the great proof points that we had across the different 3 areas. But of course, if you have any questions, would you love to engage with us further, reach out to your closest account manager, Ericsson account manager, and we will be more than happy with the headquarters studio to support you in engaging and discussing how technology can enable a better future.
yes, and it's so great that you mentioned that because we are greater or greatest together, working together to have the same result. And that's what I am about to say as well, that if you have some questions, we from Imagine Studio as well can help you deliver the rest of the proof points. Yeah, so bounce it to your sales team, CU, and your MAs so that we can, really plan as soon as possible. Yeah. Okay, but without further ado then, coming from the floor of Barcelona, MW 2023 Ericsson Hall, Anne here and Bilal,
Hello.
saying bye and thank you for having us. Bye.